Hello everybody, welcome to our first math video. So as you can see on my screen, we are going to go over two-dimensional objects like lines, some angles. What you're going to need is either from the packet or downloaded is this page here, the second page here, and then the third page is what you're going to do, and this is what you're going to take a picture of or scan in and email me back for a grade, okay? So we'll get started with this first page. Print it out. If you can't print it, I know packets aren't going out till Thursday, Friday. So if you don't have this, that's okay, and you still want to follow along, just get a piece of paper out, get a pencil out, and follow along. And then you can copy this down, send a picture to me, or you can wait till you get your packets Thursday or Friday. All right, let's get started. So that first page, we have a point. Right? It's just a dot. It's just a point. Yeah, it's easy enough. I don't think I need any explanation on a point. It's a period, a point. The next thing is a line. Now, a line, you can read, a line is a straight path of points that continues without end in both directions. So a line goes all the way to the end of the world in one direction and goes all the way to the other end of the world in another direction. And it just keeps going and going and going. And we read it as line, this is line BC. Okay? So, there's 2 points here, B and a C. It could be any letters. And we read it as line BC. When we write the little line, we put a little line above the 2 points that the line crosses. So this is line BC. Now, you can also write it and read it as CB. It can go either way. It can go back and forth, CB or BC, just like it shows you here. So a line has 2 arrows on both ends. Good? A line segment right here stops. It stops at one point and stops at another point. Stops at both points. That's a line segment. You can remember that because segment, and stop, S and S, segments, stop, and you can make a little 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's awful, but stop sign here, right? Stops. The segment stops here. And the segment also stops here. So we got 2 points that stop. Okay? Segment stop. Now when we read it as line segment. And we say line segment D, line segment E. Okay? So DE, and the way we write it is just a line with no arrows. Remember, the arrows are for a line. Line segment has a line with no arrows, and then this is D and E, DE, DE, like that. All right? Now, line segments also can be read and wrote the other way. So look at this part. Line segment, ED. So there's no differentiation between DE and ED. It can be read both ways. You can go left to right, right to left. Okay? Now, when we start talking about rays start at one point. Let me get another color here. Yeah. So rays will start at there we go. Rays will start at one point. Make it a little darker. I don't know if you can see that. We'll do like a goldy color. There we go. Rays will start at one point and go all the way around the world one way. Okay? So rays start at one point, go all the way one way. The way you can remember that is, I remember we have, we'll give this guy some sunglasses. There we go. And this is the sun. The sun has rays, right? We'll give him a smiley face. The sun has rays. Well, if you look at the sun, the middle of the sun is like a point. This is like a big point. And then the rays go off in one direction from the sun. So you can see these are all rays. Has that central point, and then it goes off in one direction. That's how we remember rays, like the sun rays. All right. Now, to write the rays, we do a little ray, little itty bitty ray, and then this is FG. FG. Ray FG. That's how we say it. Ray is what's the little figure on top is ray, and then FG. The points are what the ray goes through. Okay? So if I label the middle of the sun L, and I have another point here, K, this would be, let me get another color. This would be ray L, K. Now, something different with rays. You can't go back. This is not, you can't reverse it. You cannot say this is ray KL. It has to start at the base, start at the point, and then extend down or extend out. Okay, so this is ray, starts at the point L, and it goes through point K. So ray LK. There is no ray KL. Okay, because K is here, L is here, so no. You can only reverse it if it's line segments or a line. Good? All right, let's look at this activity down here. Draw and label JK. But what JK? Is it a line? Line segment? Is it an array? To find out, we look at this on top. What does that look like? Does that look like a line segment, a line, or array? Well, let's go back up here. That is just one little line. Up here is, well, this has little arrows coming off of it. This is just a little line with no arrows. This has an arrow going one way. So, when we look here, it looks just like the line segment, right? So this is going to be line segment JK. So how we draw that? We look up here at our line segment. Remember, segment stops. So we have a stopping point. We draw a line. We have another stopping point, and we label it JK. Good? Now look at here. Is there another way to name JK? Yes. Yes, there is. Because if we go up here, we know we can flip-flop the points, the letters, right? So if we have line segment JK, we can also name it. Let me put yes. Yes, there is. We can also label it KJ, the line segment. The rays are the only ones we can't flip-flop the letters. Okay, so yes, there is another way to name JK, and it is line segment KJ. Do you see that? Like from up here. Line segment DE can also be line segment ED. Good. Let's go on to the next part where we're going to be talking about angles. Let's read this. An angle is formed by two rays. That's a ray, and that's a ray. Or line segments that have the same endpoint. The endpoint's talking about this, and it's called a vertex. Now, we did go through some of this, I think, the last day we were there. This might be a little review for some people, but we've been off for 2 weeks, so we can all use the review. So, the vertex is this right here. It's where the two rays or line segments connect. Okay? And the way we read it is angle, because we have two here, angle PQR. Okay? So let's look at this. Let's look at how we say it. P is right here. Q is right here. And R is right here. So we just read it as we go along the angle. We start at one end of a ray or line segment, and we go down P, Q, R. Good. Or we say angle R, Q, P. Let me get another color here. So we can say R, we can start at this side, R, Q, and then P. So we can go either way. We can go that way, we can go that way. Or the last way is just angle Q, which means, get rid of all this. Oops. There we go. So that means angle Q just means the vertex of the angle, because there's no other way to find a different angle if that's the vertex of the angle. So angle Q is just this Q. It's the angle that's coming out of Q, like that. Okay? Now, if you have something that looks like this, you probably cannot use this angle Q. All right? So say we have this, and this is A, and say this is B. If I just say angle Q, you don't know if I'm talking about angle A. If I'm talking about, let me do it right here, angle A, Q, B. You don't know if I'm talking about this angle or if I'm talking about P, Q, R. So this only works, this one only works if it's just this angle right here or the other angle. Okay? So the way we write it, that first one, we write angle, it's just a little angle. It doesn't matter if the angle is right angle, which we're going to get into, acute, obtuse, it doesn't matter what the angle is. This is the notation for angle. It looks like a little crocodile mouth. It's angle P, Q, R. Okay? That's how we write it. We start at one endpoint. We go down to Q. Let me get some of that pizza color. There we go. We start at one endpoint, P. We go down to Q. We go over to R. Or, like I said before, we start at R. We go over to Q and up to P. So that's the same thing. Angle R, Q, P. Good? Or just angle Q. And that we write the same way. Angle Q. Okay? So you can flip-flop this. Now, to reiterate, the only thing we cannot flip-flop is this ray. Okay? If you look at how we write all of these, there's two ways to write it. We cannot flip-flop the ray. Okay? That's going to be important when we're looking at bigger angles and bigger, and it's saying find a ray here, find a ray there. There's going to be this whole thing intersecting lines, and find a ray. And you have to know to write the ray the one way, the one and only way we can write a ray is like this. Okay? Good. Let me add that. Now, let me read here. You can name an angle by the vertex, which is what we did. When you name an angle using 3 points, the vertex is always the point in the middle. Okay, I kind of went over that, but let me reiterate that. And let me put in a big, bold, red. The vertex is always the point in the middle. This Q is always the point in the middle. If you were trying to name this angle, this PQR, and you said angle QRP, that would tell me start at Q, right here, go to R, and then go to P. Well, there's nothing here. So I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. Oh, there it is. You see? So you cannot do an angle with starting with the vertex. It has to be one endpoint, and then the vertex is always in the middle. Good. Always the middle. They're classified by the size of the opening between the rays. This is the classification of the angles. Now, a right angle forms a square corner. You will, I don't want to say all the time, you will some of the time, most of the time, some of the time, see this little square. That tells you 100% this is a right angle without measuring it. You won't see it all the time, but if you see that, you know. That should, bell should go off in your head. Hey, that is a right angle. Now, a right angle is, I don't mind that color, 90 degrees. And the degrees is how we measure an angle. Okay, so a right angle, this space in here, is 90 degrees. All right? And it forms a square corner. Again, you're not always going to see that square, but if you see that square, you know it is a right angle. A straight angle forms a straight line. That's easy enough, right? Let me get this. So we got a vertex here. We're going to go out here. I do not like that color, y'all. Let me get another color. Let me get my red back. So we got a point, and we have, that was awful. There we go. And we have two lines that go out. Straight angle. It's a straight line. When we're talking about angles, it's a straight line. Okay? It is 180 degrees. When we start, we're going to start measuring angles. This is just kind of foreshadowing for the future. 180 degrees is a straight angle. Okay? That goes from here to here, here to here, is 180 degrees. All right? Now, let's go on to the little cute angles. The little cute angles are called acute angles, and it's less than a right angle. So if I start here, and let's say I go up, and I go up, and up, and this isn't 100% straight. I know, I can hear you guys through the screen. Get out of here. I can hear you through the screen. That's not straight. I know it's not straight, but let's just say it is. So I'm going to say this is a right angle right here. This part, this acute angle is less than, this is what we're looking at, this angle right here, and it's less than 90 degrees. So it's less than a right angle. Okay? So this part plus this part is 90 degrees. This is less than the 90 degree angle, right? Do we see that? Less than 90 degrees is cute. And you can do it with your little fingers and say, oh, that's cute. It's a cute angle. Good. Next, let me get a funky color. Green. Let's do darker green. All right, here I'm going to draw a right angle again. And I know it's not straight. I did better, but... Okay, so here's our right angle. Here's what we're measuring. That's greater than 90 degrees. So this right here is 90 degrees. But we still have all this mess right here to go. All right, so an obtuse angle... I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that first. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. And it can, but it's less than a straight angle. So we can go all the way up to about right there. All the way. From here out. All right. So, acute angle, less than 90 degrees. Small. Obtuse angle, greater than 90 degrees. Big. Good. All right. Now, if you got some paper, you can totally do this at home. I don't have paper right now. Plus, it's on the computer screen. So, to classify an angle, you can compare it to a right angle, which is what we were doing up here. Is it greater than a right angle or less than a right angle? Make a right angle by using a sheet of paper. Fold the paper twice evenly to model the right angle. It shows you right here. See? It has a little right angle. And use the right angle to classify the angles below. So, I didn't do that, but I made a straight line down here. And what I'm going to do is, and you'll have to do this a lot. It'll give you something without the paper, but a test or something, an assignment might give you an angle that looks like this, right, without this paper. And what you have to do is kind of move your angle around so you can kind of tell. And I'm going to try to do that right now. So if we move that to get even with that blue line down there, to get even with that blue line, see? And then we can draw in our right angle. We can tell that this is, let's go up here and look. Is it greater than 90? Is it less than 90? Is it 180 or is it 90 degrees, a right angle? If it's greater than 90, which it looks like it is, because this is our 90, this is 90 degrees, it is an obtuse angle, right? Because we still have all this. We still have all that area that's greater than 90 degrees. Good? Now this one, angles don't just go to the right. They don't just go one way, okay? So like this one. Let me do the same thing here. Let me get it aligned with that line. Now this, that's not very straight, but we'll just move it down a little bit, then fix it. There we go. About like that. Okay, so this one is going to the right. And if we draw our right angle, which is awful, I know. Here's our right angle. Is it less than 90 degrees? Less than the right angle? Or is it more than the right angle? There's nothing over here. So it shows me it's less than 90 degrees. So it's acute. Now, let me get rid of all that. Okay. Now, if I do that again, oops, and say I move it to a different direction. So we did have it facing this way. Let's have it facing this way. Scoot it a little bit up. There we go. Something like that. Okay? Now, some of you may look and say, oh, that's obtuse because it's over here on this side. That's not true. You have to align one of these to be a straight line on the bottom. All right? So one of them has to be a straight line on the bottom. And that's where you measure it from. Move this up here. That's where you measure it from. This part is what we're measuring. So we do our 90 degrees here. And is that less than 90 degrees? Yes, it is less than 90 degrees. This over here would be more than 90 degrees. If it was like that, it would be obtuse. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way the angle's facing, but you have to have one of the rays on that straight line on the bottom. Good. Let's move on to C. Now, I could go like this. Or I could go like this. Let's do that. Let's do this way. Get some practice in this way. Because all our angles seem to go in the same direction. So, this, just by looking at it in your book, you might say, hey, that's a right angle. I can tell it's a right angle. because it looks like a right angle. That's why you might need to flip your paper over, kind of look at it a little more, because look, when we align it on this line right here, and let me get my right angle here, my straight line, you can see it's a little bit, just a little bit less than 90. It's close, maybe 85 degrees, but it's still less than 90. It could be 89.999 and still be acute and not a right angle because it's less than 90 degrees. All right? D. D, you can probably tell. But, let me just move the whole thing. There we go. There. That looks pretty good. Let me draw a straight line up it. Whoops. Yeah, that is a right angle. So D is right. So let's go over that again. We said A was obtuse. Okay? We said B was acute. We said C was also acute, although it's very close to being right. And D was a right angle. Okay? So that's everything we need to know for our assignment. Let me go over a couple of these really quick so you know what we're looking for. The first one, let me use a different color than red. I'm going to do a soft blue. There we go. Let's try to test it out. Yeah, I like it. All right, so draw and label this in the space at the right. So what is that? Is it a line segment, array, an angle? If we go back, it looks a lot like one of these, right? So it says draw and label. The way we see it is read that top part. Read this part first. Line segment, and then we read our points. Line segment, A and B, in the space to the right. Good. We know how to do a line segment. We do 1 point, which is like a stop sign. And then we go to another stop sign, and we label our points A and B. All right? Now, line segment AB is a, well, we just said it. We just said it, book. It is a line segment. All right, so that's what it wants from the first one. Same thing with this. Look at what it's asking for. Look at right up here. That is a what? And then label it with these two. I'm not going to do that one. I want to get to these angles. So, an obtuse angle K. All right. So this is a couple of steps now. We know what an obtuse angle is. An obtuse angle, if you remember, is greater than 90 degrees. So your angle's probably going to look different than mine, but it doesn't matter as long as it's greater than 90 degrees and also less than 180, less than the straight angle. So an obtuse angle K, we're going to start with a vertex here. We're going to extend this side out. Now, if I do this, it's an acute angle. If I do this, it's a straight angle. So I got to be somewhere out here. And then I label it K. Now, I don't know what these other points are. You can give me a couple other points. L and B. That's fine, because that's still obtuse angle K, because it's talking about the vertex K. Or you don't have to give me points. This is obtuse angle K. You can do that. Okay, let's look at this part. I'll do one of these for you. Name a line segment. And it's talking about over here. From figure M, name a line segment. There's a lot. Now, I'm going to name one. There's a lot. I want you to name a different one, okay? So, line segment stops one point, stops at another point, and has a line in the middle. So look at that. Look at that. The way we write it, remember, we write a line T V. All right? I can make that a little cleaner, but line T V. Line segment, I'm sorry. Line segment, if I put little arrows on it, it would be line. But it is line segment TV, so you're not going to use that one. Find another one over here. Find another one. And then do the same thing with the right angle. Name a right angle. Now remember, to write it, you're going to do something like this. You're going to say angle. I don't care if it's a right angle. I don't care if it's a straight angle. I don't care if it's a obtuse angle, acute angle. The notation for angle always looks like this. If it's a straight angle, you don't have to do something like this and that. Angle, you know, SQL or whatever. Because that looks like an L. It's got to be just like this. Angle, SQL. Just like they did up here. Okay? But that's not even over there. So name me a right angle. Good. Draw and label an example of the figure. So let me do an angle, since I've done some lines and stuff, and then a couple more, then we'll be done. An acute angle RST. Okay? Let's start with the vertex, because we know what an acute angle is. We're going to have one ray on the bottom, and then an acute angle, if this is my straight angle, has to be less than that. So I got to come up this way. Remember, if I come back this way, it's obtuse. If I just go straight up, it's a straight angle. It wants an acute angle RST. So this one does have points. And the middle is my vertex, right? The middle letter is my vertex. So my middle is going to be labeled S. Now, it doesn't matter where I go with these. RT. So RST. If you wanted R down here, that's still angle RST. Good? Now you can do a straight angle. Just go back here. Look at what a straight angle looks like. And label it the same way. This one right here. Label it the same way. Okay, and let's find something in here. We haven't done anything with a line. Let's find the line. Number 12. Name a line. Now there's a lot of lines in here. All right? Now remember, angles have 3. Lines only have 2. 2 letters. Okay? So don't give me a line that has ABC. All right? It is going to be 2 letters, and then there are 2 endpoints. A line does not have a vertex. So the first thing we do is make the little notation that's on top, like this up here. Okay? And then let's find a line. Now a line goes on and on and on in both directions. So let's find something. I see one that's popping up on me. J, K. Remember, there's no vertex in the line. If you tell me line J, oh, I crossed it off. If you tell me line JB, then that's not even a line. JK is a line. Okay? BK is, well, it's a ray. Name a different ray, though. But BK is not a line. That's a ray. So there's a lot of rays, a lot of lines, a lot of line segments in here that you can do. So this line can also be line KJ. All right? So there's some angles in there. There's some lines. It's kind of tilted, so you might need to turn it. But other than that, you should be able to complete this. This, I need you to either scan in, take a picture, do something with it. Okay? That is it for now. If you have any questions, let me know. You can go back through the video and see everything I did, starting with the point, line, line segment, ray. The only thing with ray is, remember, there's a point and then it extends out, and you cannot flip-flop the letters in a ray. So that's the main thing with the ray. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a picture of this. I will grade it. Everyone will get 100. Sorry about that. All right, guys. Take care. Stay safe. We'll see you. Bye.